Hi, Peter Charles here of Hooked for Life Fly Fishing. And do you sometimes have trouble keeping fish buttoned up on barbless hooks? I mean, I've lost a lot of fish over the years with barbless hooks, and a lot of the places I fish, it's the law. I have to use barbless hooks, and I've gotten the habit of using barbless hooks everywhere. So the problem is, though, there are times when the fish get off. And I think we should be paying attention to the type of hook we're using and could be contributing to why we're losing fish. So I've got this little rig going on down here, and I've got one of these deep water salmon singles, a size 1, and I've got it hooked up as if, I'm fighting a fish. And you can see the angle the hook is at. And if I line up the hook point, you can see that's the direction of the thrust of the hook point, and you can see this big angle in here, right? So that's telling us something right there, that as we're pulling that hook, as we're fighting the fish, it's not driving the point directly into the jaw, it's driving it down at an angle. And that is significant. And we'll look at the significance in a minute. So I'm just going to change this. Okay, there we go. We have one of these, a Bartlett salmon single. And I've made a slight modification to it. You might be able to see this. I've straightened out the point a little bit. So the point is pointing straight ahead as opposed to dipping down. You can see there's a bit of a dip on that hook point. And I have pushed it up a little bit so it's straight. So it's a slight modification of the hook. Now I want you to see the direction of the hook point. Look at that, directly down the pull of the line. And if you look at the shape of that hook, I don't know if you're familiar with them, but there's an called Old English bait hooks or larcher hooks. That's what that looks like. And the thrust line from the pull of our line is directly into the point, so the point gets driven straight home. So what's the significance of that? Well, okay, I've got this little piece of brass tubing. It's not a great analog for the jaw of a fish, but it's close enough. It's a little hard. If it was softer material, a bit softer, it would be a bit more realistic, but it's the best we can do. So first off, I'm pulling straight. You'll notice the angle the hook point is at. It looks like it's hooked in there pretty good. And as we come round, now imagine the fish has turned its head away from you and the line has gone under the jaw. As it comes around, you can see the hook point is almost out. In fact, if I wiggle that a little bit, it'll pop out. I've done this dozens of times testing before I turn on the cameras. It popped out a few times. And a little bit of wiggling that will come out. So, what about my little slightly modified Bartlett salmon? So, as you can see, as I pull it, the point of the hook is going straight in. And as I come around, it's still stuck in there pretty good. It's not going to come out. You have a better chance of the hook point staying in the fish if the thrust of the line, the pull of the line, is in line with the point of the hook. I've got one other one I want to show you. This is a designed barbless hook. It's one of these Dohiku jig hooks that's meant for euro nymphing. It's designed as a barbless hook. And you can see the point is directly in line with the pull of the line. And if I put it in my brass tubing, it stays buttoned up. And I've caught quite a few fish, and I rarely lose a fish on this hook. And it's because that barbless point is longer. So as the fish is working, it stays in the jaw of the fish. It doesn't get levered out. It doesn't get levered out in the same way that this does. As we come around with this and we start fighting the fish and it's moving around, look, it's almost out. So, and as I say, that's not a great analog for a jaw of a fish because it's hard. But imagine that soft material, out. So when you're losing fish, and if you're getting rather tedious about losing fish, if you lost more than your share and you're getting a little tired of it, I would say pay close attention to this whole idea of the pull angle of your hooks. This one's straight and this one is pointed down. Take a look at those pull angles and decide to yourself, is this really part of my problem? And should I be using hooks that are designed right off the bat as barbless rather than crushing barbs? Sometimes we don't have a choice. In this particular style of hook, I have to crush barbs. I have to use the regular hooks. So I'll do a little bit of slight modification sometimes to help with that. But, that's about the best we can do if we can't get dedicated barbless hooks. But still, keep an idea of that thrust of the point. Is it straight ahead or is it down? And when you start working it, is it likely to lever out or is it likely to stay put? So if you're losing fish, check out your hooks. Cheers.